I am in the process of calling a halt to our wedding, as she has asked for an open relationship. Alright folks, where to start? This one is tough to type and the paws are shaking as I'm doing it. As it says in the title, me and my fiancé ex are 34 and 27 respectively, have been together for nearly 4 years overall, and are a year engaged. My fiancé is a very beautiful woman, and I'll be totally honest here, just before we got engaged, she had an emotional affair with a bloke that she worked with. I only found out because one of her friend's BF contacted me and said that he overheard the friend group discussing it. I confronted her at the time, and after a good bit of arguing and hassle, we came to an agreement to let it go. I'll be totally honest in saying that I'm still slightly in the process of getting over that particular incident, and it discolored my view of her. I manned up, moved on, and proposed, which I had planned on doing anyway. This is just to give an overall context here, and indeed to let it be known that there has been issues in the past. Fast forward to recent time, we are due married in November, traveling abroad for it with family, and back around October, she started acting a bit odd. Distant, not herself, away with the fairies. Even stopped having intimacy with me, which was very strange. I put it down to stress around organizing the wedding, and the fact that we had moved flat. Forward to Christmas time, and now things are coming to a head. I confronted her straight up, and she said out that she was sorry, has just been stressed. I was very considerate, and tried to help her through it. However, it basically continued on ebbing and flowing throughout the next 2 months, up to yesterday. I arrived in from work last night, and she says that she wants to talk. The vibe was bad, guys, I could tell. We sat down, and she said out that she had been reading, and that she wasn't having second thoughts about the marriage, but the nature of our relationship. At this rate, I was getting a bit agitated, and demanded that she come out with what the F she meant. Basically, a few of her friends had back in October. The times matched up, conveyed to her the idea of an open relationship, ... Basically, they stay with their blokes and have one-night stands on nights out if they fancy. I'll be honest, the idea made me ill. I said this to her, and she asked to be heard out, and pulled out some online blog post by a blogger who had a husband and live-in boyfriend, ... I got halfway through and told her enough of this nonsense. I wouldn't consider myself old-fashioned, but a wife or fiancé sleeping with other men will never be in fashion, not in my world anyway. We got into a fight, and in the end she was begging me to give it a chance, and that nothing is set in stone. I basically said that I needed some headspace, and that I'd spend the weekend at my mate's. It was quick after that, and I left without a fuss. I'm typing this on my mate's laptop, and am in a bad mental way ATM. I am seriously considering calling the whole thing off, both relationship and wedding. I suppose if anyone has been in a similar place, I could do with some advice. Update 1. I spent last night at my mate's, who was absolutely sound about the situation. He basically gave advice that was tantamount to what was given in the comments, to call off the relationship. We had a few drinks, a bit of banter, and this morning I went back to the flat and confronted her. She was there neither I nor her work on Saturdays, and I set out my stake in as straightforward a manner I could. Basically, I said that I didn't want to continue with the relationship, and that it's better if we call the whole thing off. The wedding details are merely financial, and not too bad to call back. But at this rate, we couldn't continue to be together as we clearly desired different things. She basically expressed what she felt then, that we still had a chance that it could work, to give intimacy freedom a chance. Look, I'm no crazy prude, but this thing just isn't up my alley at all. I basically said that over the weekend I'd be over to collect my things. It's rented flat in a town, no big obligation there, and that she can keep the place if she wants. I'll stay with my friend for a while, get myself sorted after. Towards the end, we had a full-blown shouting argument, but I stood my ground and didn't change my course. Not this time, boys and girls. I left, and there is nothing much more to say, really. So I typed me and my mate are having a few cans. My phone has been exploding since 5 o'clock with her friends, her sister calling me an a-hole for some reason. I'll be grand. Being totally frank, I feel a bit liberated, if that's not too cheesy. Update 2. Alright, folks, here's a curveball I never thought I'd be writing. After everything that went down, the emotional affair, the open relationship talk, me walking away, I ended up answering her call. It was late evening, I remember. I was at my mate's place, half watching some football rerun, when the phone lit up with her name. My first instinct was to ignore it. But something in me hesitated, and I swiped to answer. She was sobbing. I could barely make out the words, but then she blurted it. She's pregnant. My stomach turned. Honestly, my first reaction wasn't joy or even fear. It was disbelief. I thought it was some kind of trick to reel me back in. I didn't even answer her at first. Just sat there in silence, staring at the wall while she begged me to say something. The next morning, I met her. She looked wrecked, pale, shaky, like she hadn't slept all night. We met at the cafe. First, what I've asked her, of course, you know, guys, is the baby really mine? She told me that she never crossed that line. That baby is mine. And this is an insult to her that I could think this way. Yes, she offered an idea of an open relationship, but she never would do this unless I would agree to be in it together. I wanted to believe her. God help me, I did believe her, or at least a part of me did. Against every warning bell in my head, I told her. Then she showed me ultrasound screen, and I started to cry. I had a lot of emotions this week. She was crying too. Maybe I'm a fool, but I believe we could start everything from the beginning. Just for the baby, and I have to admit I incredibly love this woman. For a moment I let myself imagine it. The family life, the stability, a fresh start. Maybe, just maybe, this was our second chance. That's where the biggest mistake happened. Dan T judged me, guys. I know you'll tell me that I deserved to get all he problems on my head. We moved back in together. We scheduled the wedding. She promised me that the talk of open relationships was over and done with. She said she wanted nothing more than a family with me. For a few months, it almost felt like old times. We laughed again. We cooked dinners together, even picked out names late at night, whispering in bed like kids planning the future. But deep down, I couldn't shake it. Something didn't sit right, no matter how hard I tried to bury it. Final update: wedding day. You won't believe what happened. I'm destroyed. Everything is in pain. Fast forward to the big day, the wedding. Families had flown in, the venue was ready, everyone buzzing with excitement. She was so beautiful in the wedding dress. I saw her before ceremony starts. I should have been nervous with joy, but instead I felt this gnawing dread in my stomach. The kind of gut feeling you can't shake, no matter how many times you tell yourself you're just overthinking. The ceremony was 40 minutes away. My suit was on, tie straight, my best man grinning like a fool. But I couldn't breathe. Slipped out of the main hall, telling myself I just needed a minute to get my head straight. And that's when I heard it. Voices, low, laughing, behind a storage door down the hall. At first, I ignored it. People get nervous at weddings, right? Maybe just a couple of friends sneaking a quick laugh. Then I heard her voice. How's my baby doing? She laughed. I froze. My chest locked up. I could barely make out the words, but then her voice came again, light, almost mocking. Baby loved his daddy. Then man's voice again. Does he know? Ma answered. He's so clueless. He'll never figure it out. The world tilted. My ears rang. I staggered forward and shoved the door open. And there she was, my bride, in her wedding dress. With a curly blonde bloke, her face drained of color. She gasped, then burst into tears, scrambling toward me. It's not what it looks like, she cried, even though the truth was right there in front of me. I just stared. Ugh. The words tore out of me before I could stop them. It's not mine, is it? The baby. It's not mine. She collapsed, sobbing, begging me to stay for the baby. She swore it didn't mean anything. She still wanted to marry me, that this was just a stupid mistake. But then, like a dam breaking, the truth came out. Not just this man. Not just once. She admitted she'd been with others. Not one, not two, but around 15 over the 4 years we'd been together. 15. I felt something inside me snap. Years of doubt, of swallowing betrayal, of second-guessing myself. It all crystallized into one cold, clear truth. She was never mine to begin with. I didn't shout, I didn't throw anything. I just turned, walked out of that room, and kept walking. Past the flowers, past the music, past the guests waiting with smiles on their faces. Out the door, into the cold air, into a future I hadn't planned, but one that was at least honest. And in that moment, as painful as it was, I felt lighter than I had in years. Because my father always said, Better to find out now than waste another decade on someone who was never yours in the first place. Thank you guys for all the support. Subscribe to Holy Socks for new Reddit videos.